Good morning, everyone. It's Lindsey Huddleston back in the building for another SPS Monday Motivation. Want to say, hey, it was a great weekend, busy weekend. First and foremost, got to spend some time, make some memories with my daughter. Thanks for all the social media love. You know, we can't take these things for granted. I appreciate that. Also got to hang out with my fraternity brothers. It's been 28 years since we crossed the burning sands of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to the 12 Apostles of Alpha, R.I.P. Robert Mongo. He's no longer in the land of the living, but it was good to see my brothers. We'll talk about that in a second. And then spending some time. Got to get down to LBI, Lady Ballers Insiders April Showers Classic. Shout out to Jason Wilkins and the great job he's been doing highlighting girls basketball. And again, shout out to our new partner, the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, for their support. This Monday Motivation is being brought to you by D-Win. But with that being said, what is today's message? It is, good thing their opinion doesn't matter. I say this with a heavy heart, learning of the tragedy of somebody passing away due to suicide that I had some connection to through a friend of a friend. And it's just sad to continue to hear these sad stories of people struggling with mental health. It's kind of apropos to what we talked about and the resources that D-Win provides. And I'm not trying to connect one to the other just for the sake of self-promotion of what's happening, but it's just a reality. It's a reality that we deal with, and I think it's important that we get back to saying it's a good thing their opinion doesn't matter. So what happens when we get so caught up into what people think? I will say this. You can't help that it impacts you, something that happens in life, because you're human. But in the same sense, you can determine how it changes you because you're human. Things come and you hear things, people say things, they do things, they impact you. Like, oh, wow, look at what happened. But in the same sense, you can make a decision once you get that information to determine how it's going to change you. Is it going to change you for the good or for the better? Good morning, Michelle Mimi Watkins. How are you? So good to see you today on this Monday Motivation. Hey, we had a great hot week, but now it's snowing outside. At least it is for me here in East Lansing. Hey, so good to see you. Hope to see you in the future. Got to encourage Orlando to throw one of them cool barbecues so I can come over and hang out with you guys on the deck. You know, I'm putting my bid in for that right there. I appreciate you. But we're talking about, it's a good thing their opinion doesn't matter. And what I want to say more on with that is, you know, unfortunately, again, with this platform that I'm using to get in contact with you guys, social media has an impact. Or even if it's not social media, if you're not just a heavy social media person, what if you're just, you know, watching the news? What if you're just overhearing people in their conversation? It doesn't always have to get turned back to that. Oh, I got a thumbs up from Mimi Watkins. And for the record, I'm going to screenshot this and use this as my evidence in case I'm in a court of law and say they did not invite me to a barbecue this summer. But I know you mean it, and I can't wait to catch up with you guys in the future. Also, too, great article by Kate Bettino, Tips to Soothe Your Worries of What Others Think About You. And this was recently updated in 2021. She talks about approval from others give us a higher sense of self-esteem. We're convinced that their recognition matters to our self-worth and how deeply we value ourselves. That's very important. We do think like that. But this is very interesting. According to the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, joining a group or a tribe and being accepted by others was critical to survival. So like during the time when there were hunters and gatherers and we didn't have, you know, lights, you know, just to push a button to get warmth or put food in the refrigerator, you had to be with a group. You had to kind of be part of something in order to simply survive. And to a degree, that's still the case. We got Kevin Jackson saying, what's up? Social media is one of the biggest impact. It is. We can't get away from that, Kevin. How you doing, brother? Thanks for checking in this morning. Good to see you. And Dr. John Higgins Jr. says, what up, what up, what up, what up, Sans? Had a great time with you, man. Just hold tight, man. I got something for you in a second. But that's true when we look at that. And to be honest, we haven't got too far from that. Kevin kind of touched on that. Social media is one of the benefits. It is. It could be a double-edged sword, and I talk about that all the time. So what are some signs that we care too much of others think? What are some signs? Here's some signs. You change yourself in response to criticism regardless of what it is and who comes from it. The irony behind this, my brother John Higgins coming on, is this is my frat brother. And everyone doesn't get the opportunity, like Michelle and I, to join a Greek letter organization. And I'm not saying that's the end all be all. Shout out to the Alphas, shout out to the Deltas, and shout out to everybody else out there. I know I may have somebody saying, you ain't going to shout us out. You know it's nothing but love. But I'm going to take you guys back down memory lane for me. Oh my God. I said 28 years. 28 years ago, this past week, this was us. The 12 Apostles Alpha. Downtown Detroit. We came down from Western Michigan University to Cross. That's me in the middle. And everybody got little necks. On top of us being almost 30 years younger, we had went through a pledge process where we were all on basically an Atkins diet. You probably be like, who is who? We got. Oh, I'm not even going to get into that. But, oh, my goodness. That's John Higgins. He would be over my. Okay, he's the second from your right, my left. That's Dr. Higgins right there. That's awesome. But then I can fast forward to, some 28 years sooner. And this is just a few of us getting together. Steve Banks, myself, Corey Stokes, John Higgins, and Leonard Kagans, affectionately known as Lenny. Here's what I want to get at, folks. Why am I posting these old school and new school pics, And Kevin says, thanks for stopping by Mumford this weekend and getting some coverage. I know, man, you did a great job on the mic, man. I appreciate everything you're doing. And we're going to keep that going. That interview was up I did with Kareem as well. We appreciate you. And the reason I posted this pic of my sands from, 28 years ago and more recently is that unless people got this kind of insight on you, unless people got that kind of knowledge about you where they can say, man, remember 28 years ago, their opinion shouldn't matter. And even still, the people who had that kind of connection to you, in most cases, aren't the one going to make any critical statements to you. But if they do, they're going to say something that's to their benefit. But I do want to add another thing as we talk about what other things we can do to get through managing and making sure that other people's opinion don't matter as much. Here's the thing. Another thing is you don't set or maintain boundaries. That's really important. People can say things, and people are going to say things. Let's put it that way. They are going to say things, whether it's social media, like Kevin said, whether it's other things as well. But here's the thing. Set those mental boundaries and say, you know what? That's white noise. That don't mean nothing to me. Because unless it's part of my immediate family, unless it's part of my guys, my brothers, my sorority sisters, my church members, people that I have a bond with, that I've been through something with, it shouldn't matter. And then sometimes another thing that makes us think too much about what people think is we're perfectionists. Because they'll say something to us that get us along the lines that if it's not perfect, it can't be done. It can't be able to move on. And that's another thing that becomes very debilitating for us going forward. Also, you hold your tongue if your opinion differs from everyone else's. Oh, I don't want to say anything that's going to disagree with what the group is talking about. This may be at work. And see, that's a lot of times that businesses get unintentional consequences and unintended consequences, I should say, when nobody speaks up that has a different opinion. You don't say, hey, well, what about this or what about that? So that could be another thing that can make other people's opinion matter too much. And here's another one. Your peace of mind relies on approval from others. Easier said than done. Easier said than done to be the person who's someone like a maverick that you can just go on with your life despite what other people say. You can be the black sheep, if you will, go against the grain all the time. It can be disheartening when you're outside of the social group and the tribe, but right on time, what Dr. Hagen says, we are human, we have feelings. That's it. And I think the idea of not acknowledging your feelings is a problem. That's why I say at the outset of this, things impact us because we are human. Boom. Oh, man, you hear that? But the key is how we choose to respond. How it changes us, good or bad, is another responsibility, obligation, opportunity we have to address it because we are human. People say things all the time. Kevin Jackson, they was talking crazy about Kevin at one point. We laughed about that a while ago because of his success and what he had going on. And the key thing is that he had to make sure not to let that change him. It probably impacted him for a brief moment, but he had to make sure it didn't change him. So how do we take back control of those feelings? We talk about something simple as meditation, yoga, breathing exercise. That's really important. But another thing we can do is something that we experienced when we sat down for dinner today, being able to say, hey, man, let's have a mental health moment. Let's say that everything we say at the table right now stays at the table. And also being able to share the good things that are going on that you feel good about and talk about some things that are bothering you. I want to say it was a very healthy exercise for me and my brothers to sit and share and put things out. And though it wasn't a substitute for therapy, which we'll talk about a little later and what the resources that the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network provides, but what it was What it was an opportunity to get some things off our chest, to help us process things a little bit with a group of people that care about us and who are investors. See, the problem, going back to the title of today's Monday Motivation, is it's a good thing their opinion doesn't matter, referring to other people out there in the world who are not invested in you. These fly-by people, these people who may pop up on your social media, people you may see every once in a while, people who don't know your story, who haven't been part of your struggle, who wasn't there when you was shooting in the gym, if you will. And I think we have to keep that in mind, because too often we let individuals like that, turn our future. I thought this was a great image. It says, are you letting other people's opinion control your business? People get this, basically a battery in your back, and keep things going. I want to go back to the Horatio Williams Foundation coaches forum. We had great coach Frank Martin, who's now the coach at the University of Massachusetts, UMass, had once been to the Final Four with South Carolina University. He said, growing up, for many of us, there was only a few people whose opinions mattered. It was the voice from your mother or father, immediate family member, somebody in the neighborhood, maybe the OG would respect. He said, but now with social media, like Kevin said, you got 10,000 voices you're competing with. And that's what I mean when I talk about it's a good thing their opinion doesn't matter. Good thing these people who just saw something, just heard something, say something, it's a good thing their opinion doesn't matter. Doesn't mean it doesn't impact you, but it doesn't have to change you for the worse. It can make you think, it can make you reflect, and in my view, it can make you reflect more on what your purpose is, what your mission is, make you dig down a little bit more. I was just going through some little reels on YouTube, and Inky Johnson popped up again. Shout out to that brother. I'm sure the day may come where our paths cross. I want to acknowledge him for all the great things he's doing. He said, but the problem comes that too many times, adversity is coming for everybody. Good, bad. Everybody's going to get their share of adversity. But to paraphrase what he said is, too many times when we get hit with that adversity, we stay on that page too long. We stay on the adversity page too long instead of just turning the page. He said, and the difference between people, breaking down and breaking records is they look at the adversity and say, oh, okay, this is a reminder of who I am and what I've been about. And you look to move on. Easier said than done. It's not something you just do. And I know we put this bravado out that we can do it with no problem, but the reality is that we need help, we need support, and that's important. So speaking of that, as I get ready to wrap up, I want to talk about this great resource. Go on this, take your cell phone, or take your phone and screenshot this. Whether you're on an Apple or Android, download the app from DWIN. Check out the resource that's available. Here's what's great about that. Do you know whether you have insurance or not, you still can get support from the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, young or old. If you're in Wayne County, we can find resources to be able to help you, whether it's some mental health support, anything you may need for yourself or your family members. Go on to social media. Go on and follow it. Like what you see, like some of the interviews that I've just recently put up and what we have going on. Show support for what's happening. There are other social media links you can look at where we have some positivity to combat that negative toxicity we see so much out there. The Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network is a great resource, and I'm so happy to be partnering with them. But beyond that, get ready to go out here in this day, whether you got to deal with some snow in mid-Michigan or down in Detroit, whatever it may be. And just remember, it's a good thing their opinion doesn't matter. Yeah, people be out of order, talking reckless, say real spicy stuff to you on a regular basis, but it's a good thing their opinion doesn't matter because they're not part of your process for success. They're not feeding into you. They're not invested into you, but that is a part of the thing. People going to chirp, and guess what? Another thing, too. Kevin, with the more success you have, brother, the more events that you're covering, the more venues that you're on the mic, the more people are going to chirp because that's more exposure. Dr. Hagens, the further you go in your academic and professional career, the more people are going to have an opinion because that's more exposure. Michelle, the more New Breed Track Club is out there and your young ladies and young men are having success, the more it's going to bring attention back to you and who you are and leaves it open for things. But again, as the title says, it's a good thing. Their opinion doesn't matter. I won't keep you guys too much longer. I hope this is a message that can help you, pass it on to someone else. And again, I want to thank the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network for being a great partner, allowing SPS to get out there and support our young people in a very positive way. So with that, go on, you have a great day. You have a great week. You have a great month. Have a great year. Have a great life. SPS love you, and I appreciate the love you show back. See you guys next time. Peace.